Fannin.
So in this video, we're actually gonna break down some of the effects you see in these Instagram viral reels. Mine didn't go viral, but hey, we're gonna go over the effects nonetheless. First thing we're gonna go over is speed ramping. Now I've done a video on speed ramping before, but it's gonna be a little bit different. So I'm gonna select my clip, I'm gonna hit Control R on the keyboard, or alternatively you can hit right click and go to retime controls. With this being my first clip, I'm gonna actually start off with a slow motion first. So I'm gonna start off at regular speed, which is only like a split second. Then I'm gonna hit the drop down arrow and hit add a speed point. And basically what this is gonna do is keep this little piece of the clip here at 100%. Then I can go over here to the end and wait till you see my cursor change to the little two arrows, and then I can just speed this up. So now when it plays, it'll go slow and then speed through that motion. And you basically want your motion to stop on the beat of whatever song that you have playing in the background. So actually I'm gonna do is speed ramp from this clip to this one. So I'm gonna select this clip, hit Control R, and I'm not gonna even place a speed point because I want the whole clip to be sped up. So actually I'm gonna make a cut. I'm gonna cut about, move about here. I'm gonna split the clip and actually gonna hit delete to get rid of that, and to ripple delete. So it actually will fill in the gap. And zoom in to, I'm gonna play it to where I want it to end. I'm gonna bring that in to cut off the clip, hit Control R again, and then I'm just gonna speed this up by moving it this way. So now when it plays, it quickly goes through the first clip into the second clip. You also want to make sure they have the same motion. So this is going left to right, continue going left to right. Now for the next clip, you'll notice that the camera angle is actually going in different directions. It's going right to left. Basically gonna select the clip, hit R on the keyboard, go to reverse speed, hit change. Now the clip is gonna play backwards, but it's actually gonna be in line with the rest of your clips. You can place the cursor here at the top of the clip and wait for it to change to the two arrows and then speed ramp it. In my original speed ramping video, I used motion blur, which is only available in the studio version. So I got an adjustment clip here. I'm gonna show you how you can create a motion blur in the free version. Now shout out to Jamie Finn for this. I did not come up with this. He actually did a video. This is his secret on how he create motion blur. And in my opinion, it's actually a little bit smoother than just using the regular motion blur node. I'm gonna highlight these two. I'm gonna hold shift and remove them. I'm gonna replace them one at a time. So I'm gonna take the optical flow. You can find these in the select tool by hitting Control Space, and you just type in optical. You see optical flow, and then the next one is vector motion. When you place that on, this is actually really heavy, resource heavy. Gonna go in the inspector tab, you're gonna turn up the smoothness. I left it about 54.7. You just kind of play around with it. Then the vector motion, you hold shift, I'm gonna place it back on there. In the vector motion, you can turn up the scale if you want to. I won't turn it up too much. And like I said, this is very resource heavy. So back on the edit page, you can actually see the motion blur already starting to kind of take place there. And so you can kind of go back and forth, mess around with it. But during your edit, I would advise to have this disabled. You can just select it and hit D to disable. I went into the inspector tab where it says file and created a name for it and actually placed it in my power bin. Therefore, I can just use them from different projects. So while you're editing, leave this disabled. And then when you get done with your edit, just hit D to re-enable and then render it out. Next, we're gonna take a look at the logo flip. And for this logo flip, I just took my original clip, hit Alt on the keyboard and moved up to make a copy of it. And then I selected copy clip, hit Shift R to make a freeze frame. I take that freeze frame into Fusion. So in Fusion, just take the polygon node. I'm gonna leave it in empty space for now and then just go through and just create a mask around the outside of the logo. But in this case, the outside because it has these three little holes here. So you're gonna have to mask those out as well. And connect the output to the media one. It's gonna mask out the subject and a little soft edge. You're gonna make sure your polygon selected and you're gonna select another polygon. So with polygon 2, you're gonna go through. Now this mask is a little rough because I'm just doing it for the tutorial. And basically just go through and make another mask. But in the inspector tab, it says paint mode. You only get this option when you have a secondary mask. So since this is a secondary mask, I can go in here and on the merge and then change it to subtract. Then with the polygon 2 selected, grab another polygon and just repeat the process. Now, once you're done, be sure each one of your masks, add a little bit of a soft edge to it. Even though you won't really be able to see it because it's a quick little flip, but still, add a little soft edge to it. Like I said, this is a rough mask, but you get the general idea. And from there, you're just going to grab a transform node and just keyframe the flip effect. So with your transform node, you can go to Inspector tab and set a keyframe on the last frame of your clip. And then you can go to roughly 2 frames before that and increase the size by 2. So I'm gonna actually, well, yeah, just 2.0. That's big enough. You can go back to the original frame and drag it all the way down. And that's basically gonna give you kind of like this little animation, kind of like a little bounce effect where it comes in really large and then go back down to the regular side. Then you're gonna select the last frame, go back into the Inspector tab, select angle, and go back to the first frame, frame 0. You're gonna double click the parameter and you're gonna type in 360. It's gonna cause a 360 flip. From there, you go into settings, check motion blur, and on this one, I'm actually typing in 6, and then shutter angle, I'm gonna type in 280. Now, as for the little glow here, I use Patrick Sterling's proto effect, kind of similar to Saber from After Effects, but you can only apply this at the end of your edit if you're color grading. And so these clips I end up color grading. So if you apply it now and you do your color grade, the whole thing will be thrown off. So I'll show at the end my color grading process for this, because this is not log footage. It is actually Rec 709. I'm gonna show you how I color graded it anyway. Next, I'm gonna show you how to correct this distortion ripple. So we're gonna bring up the select tool, hit Control and space. We're gonna type in displace. Make sure you get the first one. You don't need the 3D node. I'm gonna grab up here to the toolbar. I'm gonna grab a fast noise. I'm gonna take the output of it and connect it to the input of the displace. I'm gonna hit 1 on the keyboard for the fast noise. You can change and alter this if you want. I don't recommend making that many alterations. You pretty much leave it as it is. I'm gonna grab ellipse mask from the toolbar. The ellipse mask has a height and weight. If you want to connect the 2 of them together, you're gonna right click, hit expressions, take this little pick whip, and select height. That'll allow them to move evenly. You can already see the effect starting to take place. Go back into the displace node and then turn up the refraction strength. Now you can see the effect taking place within the mask. So what we're gonna do is actually grab a secondary ellipse. We're gonna move this up a little bit and then grab the second one. Again, we're gonna right click expressions on the width, connect it to the height. That way they will move simultaneously. We're gonna place it right center, pretty much creating a donut. Again, since this is a secondary mask, we have paint mode activated. Hit the drop down and hit subtract. So now within the mask, within the secondary mask, everything will remain normal, whereas on the outside, everything is distorted by the displacement. Well, everything is displaced by the displacement node. Now you want to go through and make some keyframes. We're going to select the top mask. I'm going to drop this all the way down to 0. I'm gonna hit the keyframe. I'm gonna go to frame 30. And I just have it widen out all the way. Then I go through and you see everything become distorted. Then I'm gonna do the same thing for the second mask, but I'm gonna make the keyframes slightly different. So I'm actually go to frame 3, drop it all the way down to 0. Select the keyframe and go to frame 32 and then drop it and then increase it all the way. So now when the mask plays back, you get the little ripple effect. On the secondary mask, you can also go in here and add some soft edges to it and make it a little bit less perfect. And if you don't want it to, if you want the effect to kind of linger a little bit longer, basically want to bring in those keyframes. So if you go over here to the spline, select the ellipse. In my case, it'd be ellipse 4. I'm gonna hit this to zoom and fit. Hit this to select all, and then get time stretch. You can actually bring them in to kind of make that. I have to bring this in to about, let's do it about 7, and then play it back, see what it look like. And that kind of just makes the effect take a little bit longer and kind of distort a little bit more over time. And of course, you want to smooth this out, so I'm actually uncheck time stretch, select all again. I'm gonna hit F to flatten. I'm gonna move my spline over here, and then I'm gonna select ellipse 3. Check it. Zoom to fit, select all, F to flatten. That gives you more smoother playback. As an added bonus, you can actually download the free preset I have in the description. It's an RGB split effect. Now, once it's installed, from Fusion, go to Effects, Templates. With the drop down, go to Edit. The drop down, go to Effects. Get the effects panel here. You go and type in GS. You should see the RGB split and bring it to your node flow. Now this merge node here is from when I actually had it originally connected. So I'm actually going to delete this and show you how I actually connect it. So I'm just take the output of the fast node, it's connected to the input of the split effect. Take the output of the split and connect it to the displays. It's going to create the merge node. And as you can see here, it creates the distortion or the split effect, I'm sorry. If you click on it and you'll bring up the inspector tab, got two controls. You can affect the actual strength of it. If you hit 0.5, it'll just make it dead even. And of course, you can go all the way with it and make it completely ridiculous or however you want to. And then also you can actually keyframe the angle. As you can see, the channels are being separated, the R, the G, and the B. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is not log footage. I actually had to go through and color grade it, but with it being already Rec 709, the color grade that's on it is pretty much there. You don't get much wiggle room. So let me show you a workaround. This is how the clip originally looked. I believe it was shot log, but when it was sent to me, it was already converted to H.264. So you don't really have much wiggle room to play with as far as color grading. And of course, on the color page, I'm going to effects. I'm gonna search for color space transform. I'm gonna grab it and place it on my node. Here we got input color space and input gamma, output color space and output gamma. As far as in, I'm gonna select Rec 709. And then my output, I'm gonna select DaVinci Resolve. So the DaVinci Resolve or DaVinci Y gamut. And then again, DaVinci was intermediate. And as you notice, it got a little bit more drained out, a little more pale of a look. Select the first node and hit Alt S, or I think it's Option S on Mac. I'm gonna create another serial node. I'm gonna grab the color space transform again, place it on my node. This time I'm gonna select, go back and I'm gonna select DaVinci Y gamut and DaVinci again, and then output 709 and 709. Now, if you're wondering why I went through all this little extra process, this first node is taking that Rec 709, which is the H.264 with the file sent to me as, and basically give me at least a little bit more range with DaVinci Y gamut. That way I can color grade. I still can't push it too far as far as like masking or doing like keying and stuff, but you can get a little bit more of a range as far as color grading. Then I'm gonna place other nodes in the middle. The node is now my second node, is actually gonna be my last node. And basically it's gonna convert everything I did as far as my color grade back to Rec 709 so I can render it out. So go back to this node flow here. I select on this first node, and you notice I got the color space transform, and then what effectively become node 9, which was originally node 2, is reconverting it back to Rec 709. And then in between I did my color grade. Now the nodes in the middle, if you actually highlight the node, it actually loosely will tell you what you did in that node, because I didn't label them as I was making the node. So this is primary balance. There's a little bit of tweaking with the HDR. This one here is my I did a little hue and saturation. This one here I did a little adjustment with the hue versus hue and the hue versus saturation curve. This is more primary balance. These are parallel nodes, so I actually did two, basically more or less how the two effects that I did on these nodes work together instead of working side by side in a serial node. This one here I placed a little glow effect. This actually kind of brightened out the headlights a little bit. And this of course is my color space transform, reconverting everything back to Rec 709. Now I did not go over every little effect in this little video that I did, but let me know if you're interested. I'll go through and break down what I didn't. If you like today's video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content, and click on this video here to check out this cool plugin that helps you edit to the beat a lot faster.